Hello and welcome to the Southeast Idaho Weather Hazard Briefing for Tuesday, October 8th. We start here with a surface weather depiction. You'll notice that on this image we have mixed precipitation, that is rain and high elevation snow for today. And that's due to the front that you see at 8 a.m. is already making it going through the panhandle of Idaho and eastern Oregon. This is packing quite a bit of wind and is even down in California. That's one of the reasons why the power company in Northern California is actually going to be shutting off their power lines during this wind event. So it is very strong wind. Behind that front is some very cold central Canadian air that actually had its origins in Siberia, and so it is cold. And by midweek, we'll be looking at not just sub-freezing temperatures, but temperatures overnight lows in the teens. So that's later on in the week, though. Let's start out with what's happening today. We do have a winter weather advisory out for basically the Fremont County, the higher elevations along that portion of the Montana and Wyoming border regions, and that is for snow that is expected to accumulate up to as much as 10 inches in some locations, but generally just a small area of 6 to 10. That's why there's an advisory there. There's also a wind advisory. This is for the Snake River Plain. It starts during the afternoon hours today and continues for some locations in the afternoon hours tomorrow. This is an extended period of very strong winds. There will be a lull during the late evening and early morning hours, but by 6 a.m. or so, the winds ought to pick up again and continue, especially in the eastern Magic Valley, into the afternoon, whereas I think the places north and east of Pocatello will see those winds diminish earlier during the morning. All right, so let's see what's happening with Tuesday temperatures. These will be the warmest for about a week here, over a week actually. See the high in Pocatello of 69, nice, very warm conditions. But remember those temperatures, upper 60s in the Snake River Plain. This is what the winds will start doing. This is by this evening. The green is for areas in excess of 30 miles an hour. So you can see there is widespread areas, mostly over the Arco Desert and on the sort of the northwest side of the Snake River Plain. And on the north end, the overnight precipitation, there is a chance during the afternoon for some, mostly in the central Idaho Mountains. It will spread south and east. You can see here during the overnight hours, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that mostly covers the central Idaho Mountains and does sneak over into the rest of the Montana-Idaho border, but nothing much south of the higher of the Snake River Plain or anything. So here's how the snow is going to break out during that time. You can see not much during the evening, at least early evening, because the temperatures are still pretty warm. But here they come crashing down after midnight. The pale green is basically 1 to 2 inches. The darker turquoise, 2 to 3. And overnight lows for tonight, you can see actually stay pretty mild with the cloud cover and the winds. Notice there's a low of 37 in Pocatello, 38 in the Burley area. Again, watch what happens there. And then here we go. Here's Wednesday. The front has blown through by 8 a.m. Behind it, there's a weak trough, continues the winds going, and you can see it is almost all snow, exception of a very limited slice of southern Idaho, basically the Bear Lake region and some portions of south central Idaho are the only places that are going to see that rain-snow mix anymore. So snow all the way down to the valley floor. We are looking at probably around half an inch, and there is one of our famed convergence zones that will very likely set up behind this front and produce some localized amounts of anywhere from 1 to 6 inches of snow possible in the air behind it once this front blows through. Most of that actually though will be late the night before. But where it sets up exactly, somewhere in the Snake River Plain, most likely between Rexburg and Pocatello, somewhere in there. So here's the during the day, the chance of precipitation. You can see it does spread finally to the south. At least a slight chance in, say, the Pocatello areas and in the highlands that border Utah. A little bit better the further north you go. Actually, a lot better the further north you go. And here's what the snow will, how it will spread. You can see it's now finally getting into out of the central Idaho mountains and spreading eastward and southward, but still very high snow levels, mostly lingering in the mountains during the morning. But by afternoon, we will be cooling off enough where now Idaho Falls, and this may be, for instance, the convergence zone or evidence of it right here, this finger, as it does spread southward. And look at these. We go from 69 in Pocatello today to tomorrow afternoon highs as it fills in of, you can't read it, but it's 39 degrees. That is a 30-degree drop in temperature. That is very rare for this part of the country. And so this is a very powerful front. The bigger the temperature difference, the more power there usually is in a front. The stronger the winds, the more violent the thunderstorms. Of course, we're not expecting any thunderstorms with this. It's just too cool and too cloudy. Here you can see during the overnight on Wednesday night, the snow spreads southward and eastward all the way down to the Utah border, all the way over to the Wyoming border, and down to all levels. And here's how it breaks out. Again, the light snow starting Wednesday night, say, for instance, here in Pocatello, where I am, and other places to the west. And then late night hours, you can see on Wednesday night, it's starting to taper off. And there are actually places where it won't be snowing. It'll be really tapering off the central Idaho mountains and in the northern end of the Snake River Plain. Overnight lows for Wednesday night as they fill in here. There's still some cloud cover, still a little bit breezy, not really windy anymore. And so initially we were thinking these temperatures would be in the teens already for the Snake River Plain, but they're not going to be on Wednesday night now. Looks like they'll be staying, though, right around freezing, so still fairly cool. But you can see the cold air infiltrating the central Idaho mountains. They are already in the teens for Wednesday night. So with this snow event, this is what the current snow totals during the entire event from noon today until basically Thursday morning or late Wednesday night. You can see less than an inch for the Snake River Plain, Eastern Magic Valley. And the yellow indicates 4 to 8 inches. You can see in the Island Park area, and then some in Lemhi County and very high elevations west of Chalice. All right, Thursday, the high pressure builds back in. Not much happening on Thursday except for bone-chilling cold. So the threat of precipitation does linger in our eastern highlands and southern highlands, but you see it's all but tapered off for most of the rest, even including the Snake River Plain. Here's how the snow breaks out. You can see it's very limited in appreciable accumulations. Basically, you have to be east or south of the I-15, I-84 corridors. And it pretty much tapers off here by 6 p.m. on Thursday. Not much going on at all. So in its wake, temperatures remaining cool. You can see 39 degrees and 40 degrees still in Snake River Plain. And the chance of precipitation, again, almost nothing for Thursday night. And then here are the morning lows. Teens in the Snake River Plain to low 20s and single digits. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some below zero temperatures out there, but it looks like right now nothing, but lots of single digits for the Central Idaho Mountains, the Island Park area, all the usual suspects, the alpine basins in our highlands and Central Idaho Mountains. This is the extended forecast. Not much happening until maybe a slight chance of rain on Sunday. You can pause this to read this more clearly. The abbreviations for these temperature ranges are given down here for the regions. That's all I have. If you have any further questions, you can contact us at this telephone number or check out the weather yourself at weather.gov/Pocatello. If you have any comments or feedback for the content of the briefing, contact our webmaster at this email address. Thanks for watching.